Hey everybody, welcome back to another jog video. It's your man Jake, aka Chief Gulag Gatekeeper. You're watching gameplay footage while listening to my beautiful, or maybe not so beautiful voice, rant about all kinds of topics. In this video I'm going to be sharing 3 pieces of advice for my fellow leftists in America. These tips are going to be tailored mostly to the baby leftists in the Imperial Core, but hopefully the advice should stick no matter what. Let's just jump right in. Growing up, any American receiving a lifetime of this so-called American education quickly becomes conditioned to the so-called culture of America. The 9-to-5 nature of the school day, forcing children to do homework for unpaid and unrewarded labor. Then, of course, during adulthood, there's the 9-to-5 workday, the media conglomerates dumping flashy imagery for consumerism on the daily. A tsunami of content floods the American psyche masses. And then there's also including the alabaster-level whitewashing of American history. So many of these factors contribute to my first piece of advice. 1. Deprogram your American conditioning. The result of a lifetime in America will leave you feeling isolated, alienated, and uneducated. The rest of the world becomes foreign, and the little to no education about so many other cultures and nations around the world creates a unique state of ignorance in almost every American. Despite being the wealthiest and most powerful nation in the history of the world, Americans are some of the most ignorant, least educated people on so many geopolitical and international issues. This is partly Americans' fault, but it's mostly the result of bourgeois development and influence starting not just at the country's inception, but most notably from the birth of the Industrial Revolution onward. As newly self-designated leftists, it is the humble recommendation of your fellow leftist here, we ought to seek as much deprogramming as possible. Pursue the media created by individuals you know to be more knowledgeable and trustworthy. Spend a lot of time learning to kill your heroes, so to speak, and let go of the old values you might have held that are unhealthy for you. Values, impulses, and conditioning all spawned as the brood of capitalism. Criticisms of leftism of all kinds are already maintained by leftists themselves. Leftist infighting is an extreme exaggeration, as you'll find many non-American and non-Western leftists are quite critical but cooperative with everyone's goals, despite these alleged titanic differences among us. There is a general strain of commonalities in agreement with branches of varying interpretations which liven the overall communist/socialist project. Learning the similarities and differences of the political dispositions will be wildly helpful. Take a second look at American history to see what we've been taught and see what's been left out or whitewashed. Reading Howard Zinn's A People's History of the United States would most likely be a great help. Deprogramming yourself from so much of how our country conditions itself, things like the villains in our media, how we talk to each other, what we listen to or what we dismiss, will significantly help remove so much BS put into our brains. This will also help you remind yourself of the previous stages in your own political development, like old liberal and/or conservative views you may or may not have held. Which leads me to my next point. 2. Pick your battles. You may begin to face the issue of how influential hegemonic capitalist culture is in America. The more and more you spend time holding a leftist perspective while living in America, the more and more the situation becomes apparent that the fascist, imperialist, white supremacist, patriarchal forces are at play and truly dominating the culture. It is already extremely difficult to engage in alternative living styles like communes. Even healthy cultural phenomena like veganism can only have so much of an effect with how massive and extensively subsidized the meat industry is. You may have moments when you're out in the world, let's say eating with friends or family at a restaurant. You may be scrolling on any website or media feed, and it's likely you'll come across all kinds of American, conservative, or liberal apologetic positions. This will occur and is only becoming more prevalent with every moment as political radicalization in the country and really all around the world continues. As I mentioned, it's important to remember the place you were in your own journey in the past anytime you engage in arguments with any type of person. This will help you keep a grounded footing, not just for your own arguments, but also for your own personal energy expenditures. It will help you remain present in measuring your own limits and boundaries, so you know when to push or pull based on your own feelings. Over time, you may feel more and more impassioned by the relevance of specific issues you care about popping up here and there, and the resulting indignation you feel will only be reinforced by the world around you. One of the most common ways this will happen are these instances of just horrible political takes from Americans in reaction to any kind of cultural event. It's best to take these things in stride. You simply won't be able to change every person's mind. It often takes a lot, like constant discussions on topics over and over again, just to get a single person to change. It's difficult to both feel confident and look confident to the opposition. As we know, they take every opportunity they can get to destabilize the ground you stand on. The most annoying conservatives and liberals constantly deny the real nature of our collective material reality, and sometimes it can be easy to falter from manipulative social pressure, at least if you're anything like me. In my opinion, stray away from arguments trying to convince your family or friends. The right times to try may come up, but your real bread and butter, your real meat and potatoes, are the discussions with strangers, random acquaintances, or random social moments, dipping your toes in quick back and forths to see what holds up. That will be good practice, because you don't have much to lose if you misspeak or forget a statistic or something. If you happen to have really bad social anxiety, I'm going to approach you with both viewpoints involved. A, don't push yourself too far and don't do anything that might make you truly uncomfortable. But B, it may be a lot more difficult to be an impactful leftist if you let your fears get the best of you. If it's truly too much for you, then no worries. There will be plenty of things for you to be the perfect fit. Discussing with general people in drive-thrus, waiting lines, classrooms, yes, even those casual conversations with family and friends when appropriate, just testing the waters with your and their views, probing with gentle and simple questions, seeing how people react to undeniably convincing information, all of this will bolster your self-belief, invigorated by the experience you learn from your actions. Dedicate a portion of your time when you socialize to experiment, spreading the good word of the cause. Doesn't have to be a lot, but you can improve your skills using the info you acquire during your new discovery of socialism and communism. And then incorporating more and more information will help you grow even further, and so forth. It's kind of like a really good feedback loop. And this can all require a bit of effort at times. Take breaks for your mental health when you need it. These late-stage capitalist conditions can be quite demoralizing sometimes, or maybe all the time, especially with the genocide killing Palestinians continuing yet again. Trust me, finding your own self-validation, self-care, and the sort will go a long way assisting your overall leftist capabilities, more than you know. And for the third tip, last but not least, 3, remember, we are right. Too often, in the face of smug wine moms or barking old dads, anti-Soviet pseudo-historians, fence-sitting centrists, or your classic liberals and conservatives alike, Americans are quick to comfortably bask in the spoils of their empire's wars when pressured with the elitism, entitlement, and disconnect held within the contradiction of their own positions. As any leftist seeks so earnestly and honestly to engage in good faith discussion for liberals and conservatives, it's all just a difference of opinion or debating or heated discussion. It's a spectacle or theater or joke to them. Many, if not most, if not all, conservatives and liberals in America have become so detached from the urgency of our situation, they truly think we have no problems, despite the obviousness of our countless issues stacking up. Whether it's the issue of climate change and pollution, the issue of inflation, student loans, proper health care, the addiction and suicide rates increasing, capitalism's deterioration of our institutional systems, fascism, rise in hate crimes, rise in homelessness. The evidence is all there. But these liberals and conservatives are so emotionally neutered, they don't see the picture at all. So when you understand this, it makes perfect sense that non-radicalized Americans just don't have the healthy and proper emotional investment in these problems. It doesn't make it okay, but it's important to remember because leftists are fundamentally operating on good faith terms, while conservatives and liberals never will. You can use this to your advantage, but I'll tackle that in another video more specifically. This overall third specific point is rooted in the merit of our politics. Leftist arguments are some of the only positions to hold up under scrutiny, and this is even more apparent when compared to the dilapidated and outdated discourses in liberal and conservative circles. There's no reason to let American nationals get under your skin. Harry Potter and Israel-loving liberals don't understand, and they're so obviously lacking knowledge on a substantial portion of the issues that you are more than welcome to dismiss them entirely. If you think I'm full of it or something being too much, then try this. Next time you find yourself with your back against the wall in one of these small political back and forths, start ripping the rug from under your opponent instead. Bring up slavery, indigenous genocide. Bring up women's oppression, the KKK, Wall Street, the Confederacy, the Civil War. Bring up the Japanese internment camps when liberals bootlick for FDR. Mention the atomic bombs, 2 of them being dropped. Read the stories of Japanese women and children scarred and burned flesh, bodies ripped in half, crawling on the ground from the aftermath of the bombs. Make them justify the history of the United States. Pin the sins of this empire on these smug, punchable face, ignorant Americans, and make them as uncomfortable as you so please. Shove the videos of crying and dead Palestinian children in Israel supporters' faces. Let them be forced to see exactly what is happening thanks to their so-called land of the free, so-called home of the brave. Our opponents have no real moral ground to stand on. They stand on the legacy of capitalism, imperialism, the patriarchy, white supremacy, you name it. Make them deal with this reality. Haunt them with the history of our country's past, so at least they walk away from the discussion newly reminded of the ghosts and corpses stuck beneath the foundation of this evil empire. Tell me, when you too recall this grim reality, when you keep all of these important historical facts in mind, is it really on us, leftists, to justify our side? Because it seems to me we all may already have our arguments inherently justified. After hearing these 3 tidbits of advice, hopefully something will be of use to you. In the future, I'll be seeking to share more information I may have that could help anyone. And with that said, thanks for watching. I hope you enjoyed. Feel free to let me know what you think in the comments. Please like and subscribe if you can. Take care, and I'll see you in the next one. Peace, love, and for the revolution. See you soon, comrades.